Hello and welcome to your Daily Detroit for Thursday, May 7th, 2020. On today's show, we're going to update you on what's happening around town. I'm Jer Stays.
And I'm Cheyenne Noserini.
We'll start with some top-line numbers in the state. There are now more than 45,000 confirmed COVID-19 cases in Michigan and 4,250 deaths. That's more than 650 new cases in the last day and 71 fatalities. There are a few different stories playing out as far as geography right now. Yes, Detroit is starting to get somewhat of a hold on things, with just 8% of coronavirus tests coming back positive in the city. However, the disease is spreading west. A great interactive on MLive shows how counties near Grand Rapids are seeing upticks, and we will link to that in the show notes. Other news in Detroit includes word that the city of Detroit's 3 casinos likely will not be able to fully reopen until there's a vaccine. Mayor Mike Duggan said that in a press update on Wednesday. There could be a partial situation with social distancing and guidelines depending on how things play out.
Also, the TCF Center's field hospital will be put on pause once a single patient that is there is discharged. However, officials are not taking the hospital down. They're keeping it ready in case of future waves. Out at the temporary hospital in the Novi Suburban Showplace, there are currently 5 patients and it will remain open.
Since we're talking about the suburbs, let's turn to Michigan's third largest city. In a 2-page letter, Warren Mayor Jim Fouts said that police will begin to enforce social distancing and mask compliance. Fouts said that he's gotten a number of complaints and so has ordered the enhanced patrols in retail areas. Then to Royal Oak. Controversial conservative city commissioner Kim Gibbs was recently censured and asked to resign by their mayor for attending the Operation Gridlock protest last month in Lansing. Well, on Wednesday, she's alleged to have shoplifted from a local Meijer. According to the Oakland Press, she is accused of taking a shopping cart of grocery items worth about $130 to a self-checkout scanner inside the store and then paying for $45 worth of the stuff and not the rest. For her part, she issued an apology and said that there has been a lot of stress since she appeared in Lansing on April 15th. Back in April, she said that, quote, "In my eyes, the scare on the coronavirus is over." Gibbs is currently running for Oakland County Commissioner, but I have to ask, was she liberating the goods in her cart from the draconian restriction that you don't take things without paying for them? General Motors has managed to have a profit for the first quarter, $294 million, even though the pandemic has hurt sales. The pandemic has cost an estimated $1.4 billion in revenue to GM, and that they are among the hardest hit as a number of their factories are in China and have been shut down since around the start of this year. Most GM plants in the U.S. and Canada are set to restart on May 18th. Crosstown rival FCA is also set to reopen that week.
The Old Rouge Steel Mill, part of Henry Ford's former sprawling complex that opened in the 1920s, will fall silent. 343 people at the Dearborn facility will lose their jobs in July. The owners, AK Steel, say that it's closing due to rapidly deteriorating business conditions in a warn notice to the state. AK Steel is now owned by ore miner and steel producer Cleveland Cliffs, thanks to a merger completed in March. Protecting steel jobs was the point of the 25% tariffs imposed by the Trump administration in 2018. However, many economic experts agree that they had little to no effect in protecting jobs. Once American steel production temporarily ramped up in response, steel prices dropped again. Between foreign steel that wasn't subject to the tariffs still coming into the country and an overall demand drop, most of the U.S. steel industry no longer makes financial sense for investors.
Michigan Medicine, which is made up of the University of Michigan Health System, medical school, and research facilities, is laying off or furloughing 1,400 employees in the wake of reduced revenues due to the coronavirus. They're also cutting capital projects, instituting a hiring freeze, cutting salaries, and more to deal with at least $230 million in losses by the end of June. Health systems across the country have been financially hurt by the pandemic as procedures and surgeries that are revenue positive have been put on hold or significantly reduced.
We're all familiar with those disposable wipes for your posterior that are all the rage right now. Well, a local public official is suing 9 major wipe makers. Why? Well, they label their wipes as flushable, and Macomb County Public Works Commissioner Candace Miller contends they do serious damage to sewer systems. The suit was filed in U.S. District Court in Detroit on Wednesday. It seeks to get makers of disposable wipes that are described as flushable to change their labeling and marketing. Here is Miller describing the issue.
Well, they might be flushable, but they're not biodegradable. They never biodegrade inside the sewers. And so what happens is they're causing all kinds of issues, big problems in our sewer system and sewer systems everywhere, really, because they almost get into like a rope situation. So they're chewing up all the pumps. They're causing sewer backups.
2 years ago, Macomb County removed a 19-ton mass of wipes and grease as part of a giant fatberg. Last year, there was a literal ton of wipes they're calling the rag ball taken out of the sewer system. The Public Works Department says the 2 wipe masses cost the county $100,000 to get rid of.
After a national search, the city of Detroit has a new executive director of transit. His name is C. Mikkel Oglesby, and he'll oversee the Detroit Department of Transportation and the Detroit People Mover. He'll also work to coordinate with SMART, the suburban bus system, and the Q Line, which are separate entities. The son of a bus driver has more than 3 decades of experience, including in Greater Boston, the Coachella Valley, and Miami-Dade County. Oglesby begins work on Monday. All right, switching gears to food, the James Beard finalists were announced earlier this week, and there are a few that call Michigan home. Lisa Ludwinski, the owner of Sister Pie, is once again a finalist in the Outstanding Baker category. Zenders of Frankenmuth in the American Classics category. And I mean, who hasn't been to Zenders if you've been in Michigan for a while? And finally, Zingerman's Roadhouse in Ann Arbor is a finalist for Outstanding Hospitality. None of the Michigan chefs in the Best Chefs Great Lakes category made it to the finals, which, well, pun intended, really bites. The foundation will not host a ceremony this year due to the coronavirus. The Restaurant and Chef Award winners will be announced on Friday, September 25th.
The popular Birmingham restaurant Hazel Ravines in downtown reopened last weekend after closing for 6 weeks due to the pandemic. They are now offering lobster rolls to go and a limited carryout menu. During the opening weekend, they sold roughly 2,000 rolls. You can choose between the cold Maine lobster roll, which has mayo, or the hot Connecticut roll, which has drawn butter. They are both really good choices. There is also lobster bisque, crab dip, peel and eat shrimp, and whitefish dip on the menu. We will have a link to the website where you can order your food.
Well, we like ice cream and treating ourselves during these times over here at Daily Detroit, so it's a bit exciting to hear about the new limited edition summer flavors from Hudsonville Ice Cream. This year, the flavors are American Fireworks and a returning favorite, Blueberry Cobbler. The American Fireworks has a sweet and sour ice cream base with a sour cherry swirl. The special edition is blue popping candy, which I'm going to be honest, I have no idea what that means, but I'm going to trust the Michigan-based brand here. The Blueberry Cobbler ice cream, and this sounds a lot more attractive to me, has a vanilla base with Michigan blueberry sauce and pieces of pie crust.
I know our blueberry-hating engineer, Randy, will be very disappointed.
You will be very disappointed.
He will be so disappointed at the blueberryness, but I am excited. I love me some pie crust pieces.
Before we end the show, here's another little bright spot. I wanted to let you know that the Detroit Kite Festival has set up an online shop to sell kites, do-it-yourself kite kits, and apparel, because flying a kite is something that you can do social distancing, so I thought I'd let you know about it. The website will open up on Saturday. And here's some news as well. The popular Kite Festival is still tentatively scheduled for Sunday, July 12th. But they did note that those plans could change due to the ongoing pandemic. We will leave a link for the little kite shop in the show notes. And we are done for today. Thanks to our members on Patreon for making this show possible. You can join them at patreon.com/dailydetroit. And thank you very much. I'm Jer Stays.
And I'm Cheyenne Nosarini. Take care of each other, and we'll get through this together.
but those plans could change due to the ongoing pandemic. And Fun Killer and all their killer and kills all the things. And there's murder hornets, people. There are freaking murder hornets. That's how our world's become. We will leave a link for the little kite shop in the show notes.